morning, everyone. Again. Nori, I'm giving you a sticker for being first. Welcome, everyone. Babel, Nori, Cynthia, Sarah. Good to see you. The the premiere was really fun. This is my first time doing a premiere on YouTube. It was really fun. I really, really would love to do a premiere for the next animatic. I think that would be really, really fun. Because an animatic is longer, obviously. An animatic is going to be probably between 4-5 minutes, give or take. At least I think the song that I'm currently working on is about 4.5 minutes, 45 seconds, give or take. And it'd be really fun to watch people, to have the opportunity to get to potentially have some reactions in practically real time for the animatic. So I think that'll be fun. Brontë, hello, good morning. It was a success. The premiere was really fun. Yeah, that was great. I definitely want to do more of those in the future. I'll probably, well, actually no, hang on, I can't do that. I was gonna say, I guess I could technically do a premiere for when the audiobook videos go up, but those are gonna be several hours long. So probably not. Those won't be those won't be premieres because they're gonna be several hours long. But still, I'm excited to get them up on YouTube. That's not gonna happen for a while. It's gonna be kind of later this year, but still, I'm very excited. Cyril, my lover. There he is. Look at him. I pinch his cheeks. Welcome in, Nix. How are you? You owe me about 50 stickers. Oh, Brontë, you're so right. I got to get you a whole sheet of stickers. And hang on, you guys get to come with me while I turn the air conditioning on. Because it's hot. It's so hot. Okay. That'd be really fun. I think so. I love the opportunity to just kind of interact with people in real time. That's part of why I love streaming so much, which I apologize. I have not been able to stream very much at all this month because it's just been, oh my gosh, it's been such a hectic month for me. I have to stream today, Saturday, which is not my normal stream day because tomorrow is Father's Day, of course. So my family is coming over, so I'm needing to clean and, you know, get my gifts ready and all of that because I have my own dad, obviously, but then I have my grandpa, and then he's not my dad, but this is the first year that my brother-in-law will be a father because his wife, my sister, they had their first baby. So this is the first year he's going to be considered a father, so that deserves a card and a little gift. So I'm going to be doing that. So all of that's going to be taking place tomorrow, so that being the case, we're here on Saturday, but normally I do try to stream every other Sunday. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll get back into that rhythm, because I miss streaming. It's great to chat with you guys. I love having like these little real-time interactions, so. It's roasting in my room, and I've got, wait, no windows or air conditioning? I'm pretty sure windows are a legal requirement for a bedroom. I'm confused. Well, I don't know, I guess it depends on where you live, but at least here where I am, you do have to have a window. It'd be so cool to have audiobook live streams. Do you guys really, really want to be sitting on a YouTube live stream for 6 hours? I think book one, so okay, each volume of Immolation is 3 books. Each volume has 3 books in it. And I've broken them down by book for YouTube. And for like, if you buy the audiobook from me, I've broken them down that way as well. So they're not crazy long, so you can kind of skip around and go back to certain chapters and that kind of stuff. So I think off the top of my head, I don't know why I'm doing this off the top of my head. I could just go look. But I'm going to do it off the top of my head anyway. If you look at the time for how long each individual book is, the total audiobook is a little bit over 16 and a half hours. And I think the first book in volume one is like roughly 6 hours, give or take. So that's a 6 hour live stream. You really wanna commit to that. Congrats on being an uncle, I think. Yes, I'm now an uncle. This is the first grandchild for my parents. So this is he's gonna be very spoiled. And I am committed 100% to being the weird uncle. The thing that my uncle was for me, which is like the weird uncle who like travels a lot and has a lot of antiques and always finds like little weird trinkets to give as gifts. That's the vibe. That's the goal that I'm aiming for. First time dad card. Yes, I think he's definitely earned it. Dia, I did run to be on time. You will also get a sticker, Sarah. Thank you for being here. Yes, how dare you stream on my day? I know. This is normally Babbel's stream day, and I am very much in the routine of like, oh, great. This is like my cleaning and chores day. I did some of that last night, but usually for the weekends, like part of my routine is like, oh, Saturday morning, or at least morning my time. Saturday morning, I can put my headset on and I can listen to Babel while she streams like a fun game, and then I'll like do some housekeeping, and that's very much part of my routine. And I had to ruin it this weekend. Sorry, Babel. Father's Day was last week for you. My dad and I were talking last week. So last weekend I went to see Phantom of the Opera in San Francisco. It was technically a birthday gift for my mom because I had gotten her tickets for that. Her birthday was back in December, so I had purchased tickets and I'd given them to her for her birthday. And now the showtime is finally coming around. And when my mom and I came back from San Francisco, we kind of stopped off at their house and everything. And my dad and I were talking, and we were trying to kind of figure out like, oh, okay, so like, what are we doing for Father's Day? Are we, going to have like a picnic? Are we going to anyone? Is anyone hosting like a lunch, or what are we doing? And my mom was like, oh, it's next week. And my dad and I were both like, no, it's 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks from now. So none of us know when Father's Day is. So thankfully, my mom said something because both my dad and I probably wouldn't have showed up because we would have thought it was the week after. But anyways, let me go ahead and swap my screen here over to the canvas so you can kind of see what I'm working on. Um, mm, mm, mm. I haven't really figured out exactly how I want Bronte to be posed for this because Cyril's arm is basically going like kind of right where her head would be, so she's gonna kind of be covered up. But I thought it was gonna be really cute because she's like reaching for a book and then he comes up behind her. Don't ask me what his other arm is doing. I haven't thought that far ahead. So I don't know. I remember last stream I was in with you, we were talking about the wing spurs. I remember that. I feel like I learned so much. Did I retain any of it? No. It's fine. I made it work so I wouldn't lose out on your lovely premiere. Well, thank you so much for being here. It really means a lot to me. I've seen Phantom of the Opera twice. This is my first time seeing the stage production. However, my the reason that I got the tickets for my mom as a gift is because she would talk about how either right after or like just before she and my dad got married, they had gone to see Phantom of the Opera, and she just absolutely adored it, and she kind of fell in love with it then and there. And my dad's a very good sport. He doesn't really care for Phantom of the Opera, but he'll happily go see it because my mom adores it. And so my mom has been a handful of times, but this particular tour is using all of the original material from that original Broadway production. So it's using all the same set pieces, all the same props, all the same costumes, all of that. So that was a very nice little detail. And I actually didn't find this out until I was like in my seat at the theater, holding the program and looking through it. I didn't realize this, but actually the performer playing Madame Giry in this production that we went to see, which is the new North American tour, the performer playing Madame Giry is actually the original Christine Daae from the original Broadway production. I didn't realize that it was her. So my mom was like, "Oh my gosh, she's the one that I like saw like 30 years ago, back before your dad and I were married." So that was a fun little detail. We had no idea. I could have Googled it, and I just didn't, because I didn't even think to research that. But that was a wonderful little treat. My mom was very, very happy, and I told her happy birthday, and she had a wonderful time. So, and it was a wonderful performance. The Phantom was exceptional. He had a fantastic voice. Definitely hit and held a few notes that literally gave me chills, which was just wonderful. But yes, overall, fantastic performance. The conductor, excellent as well. I have a specific appreciation for conductors because I have been fortunate enough to see several live productions, like live stage productions. And the ones that always stay with me the most are the ones where the music and the conductor just have a certain presence about them. And this was definitely one of those shows, which was fantastic. And shout out to the stagehand, who I saw sneak onto stage to grab a prop that wasn't cooperating. And I saw him, and I actually asked my mom and then a couple of the people next to me, because the people to my right side, it was like a couple, and it was their first time. It was their first time seeing Phantom, and it was also mine, but they had no familiarity with Phantom, so they were surprised by everything, which was delightful. But I was talking to my mom, like, "Did you see the stagehand?" And then the guy next to me was like, "What? There's the stagehand?" I'm like, "Yeah, didn't you see him? He snuck onto stage and he grabbed a prop that wasn't working." And they're like, "No, I didn't see him at all." I'm like, That means he's doing his job. He's doing his job well. So that was fun as well. If you didn't draw his second arm, you can make him holding his staff or his cane. That's true. Let's see, where's my pen? I can sketch in some ideas for what we want to do with his hand. And actually, what I think I will do is I will just put it completely behind him in terms of the layers. So I have some more flexibility with what I do. I got a Phantom of the Opera book as my birthday present from a friend. That's so cute. Yeah, I had never seen Phantom of the Opera live on stage, but I had seen a recorded like stage production of it. So like not the film. I know that there's a film version of it, but that's not what I had seen. I had seen like a recorded stage production. All right, let's see. So if I want to, because the way that I have done Cyril's shoulders here is that, obviously, let me, I need visual aids. So this arm, obviously, because it's up, this shoulder is higher than this one. So because of that, this arm should be at a relatively relaxed angle, or at least like down by his side. Like this arm should not be also up against like the bookshelf. Because he's not pinning her like that. Would he like to? Yes, but he's not. Not at this moment. I have not given him permission to do that. Rotting Beach, welcome in. How are you today? Give me one moment. I need to pull up my stream chat on my phone so I don't have to keep tapping back and forth here. This is amazing. I love your storytelling. Well, thank goodness, because I do try to tell a good story. All right, let's see here. How about, can I pull this up? There we go. All right, excellent. All right, that makes it a bit easier for me. Today I'm filled with pride as I achieved a remarkable feat, translating 3 languages in a single moment, all at once. I'm so proud of myself. You should be. That is a great feat. Congratulations. How long have you been studying other languages aside from your native language? Like, what's the? Because I'm assuming Italian is your native language. Oh, also, I totally forgot. I added Bronte's little eep. We'll see how long that stays in there. I have been known to hide little words and smiley faces in my art, and then either deliberately leave them behind or forget to erase them. So we'll see if that makes it to the final. All right, let's see. So if we want to perhaps have him holding his cane, let's see. I don't know that you'd be able to see very much of it. Because, yeah, he's at a sharper angle than that, so we probably want to do. Widen this kind of part of his upper elbow a little bit to kind of give more of the illusion that this part of his arm is like facing away from us, you know? Yeah. But then if I do that, you're not really gonna be able to see like what he's doing with it. Like nobody knows what's going on back there. Well, you know, actually, man, ooh, if I do that, I'm having an emotional experience. I have another idea, but if I do that, it's gonna be such a pain. It's gonna be such a pain to draw that. Oh, but I think it might look nice. Okay, hold on. Let me bring you up to speed with what I'm thinking. I have to make a new layer for this. Hold on. Eep. We got a heat wave, and I already missed the colder days, but overall good. I'm working on Art Fight. How are you? Oh, Art Fight profile. Is it already Art Fight time? I've never participated in an art fight, but I know what it is. How are you? I'm doing well. I'm extremely exhausted because June has been crazy. But I'm very, very happy to have the audiobook done and completed, and it's out there. I know that right now it's only available on, well, quote unquote, only available on Audible, Amazon, and Apple Books. You don't have to buy it. I've had plenty of people on YouTube especially comment that they do not want to purchase through Amazon. You do not have to purchase through Amazon. You can purchase directly through me. So that way, like, I'm not giving Amazon a cut or anything. You're not giving Amazon any money, yada, yada. So there's little options to do that through Ko-fi and Patreon, and eventually it will be on YouTube for free. But yeah, I'm very excited, and I hope people really enjoy listening. I've had a very, very good time listening to it myself. And it is also very hot here as well. All right, so let me explain the idea that made me have a little mini crash out here. So we have this shoulder is, again, kind of down. So what my idea is, because this is a mannerism that Cyril does a fair bit, probably have to, and I'd have to make adjustments here, but basically we'd have him with his arm behind his back. If we want to really show that he's carrying his cane, then we could have it be behind his back here, which you can already tell would be a pain to draw. And then I have to foreshorten this forearm part, which would be kind of annoying. And then we'd have his hand over here. This is a very, very rough version to give you the idea. And then he could be holding his cane, because Cyril does this a lot. When he's not using it, he'll just kind of be holding onto it, and he kind of puts it behind his back a lot. He does that in the first chapter. So that's the idea. If like I really want to show off the fact that he has his, and the cane would be angled in a different way to make it look more appropriate. But this is just to give you the general idea. Let me just drop this here. Thank you, Babel. I appreciate that. That's great to know. I'll see how I could give you my money. Not many apps work for me. I know that it's difficult for international purchases, which is why I'm trying to get it pushed out to more platforms. The only payment processor that I really use is PayPal, and I know that that's limited, unfortunately. But hopefully I will be able to get it out on platforms that you can purchase it from or through. It'll also eventually be obviously on YouTube. If you want to listen to it for free, that's going to be the best place, because I can try to get it on like what are they called? Like audiobook libraries, but you, and when I say you, I mean me, I still have to pay to get it in there. So I can't guarantee that that's going to be happening, but I'll do my best. But YouTube is going to be the best option if you would like to listen to it for free. And that'll be sometime later this year. Yeah, so, and I don't think I'm going to give Cyril, I don't think I want to give him his sash. Well, he's wearing his sash, his stole. His stole is what I was thinking of. I don't think I want to give him his stole, and I definitely am not going to give him the capelet, because respectfully, the capelet would cover up like most of Brontë and like his tit, and I put a lot of effort into drawing that tit, so we're gonna keep that visible. I managed to get the book on my trusty iPod. Yeah, that was my favorite image, is seeing the Immolation audiobook playing on an iPod. I'm like, oh my gosh, what year is it? It's my favorite image. I love it so much. If I was more creative, I would take that and make some sort of advertisement with it, because I love it so much. Oh yeah, so that's one option, especially if I want to have him holding his cane, and his cane would definitely be like not this angle. Let's see if I can make it be something more like that. It's really hard to foreshorten that with only black blobs to work with, but we're gonna do our best. Feel free to use the pic if you like. I might. I don't really know what I would do with it. I find it so funny that I love it. Gang, I was just using my pen and it disappeared. I've had that happen. I was gifted a new drawing tablet by a dear friend of mine, and it comes with this little brick thing, this little brick that you like put your pen down into, which my previous tablet did not have. And the amount of times that I'm like, oh my god, I lost my pen, and no, it's in the little brick, and I forget because I'm not used to using the little brick. Show us, please. Let me see if I can find that picture. I can just bring it up on screen. Hang on. Funny little story on Insta or something. Yeah, definitely. I think I have like a little memes highlight or something on Instagram, so I could probably put it there. I think that'd be fun. Let's see. Here we go. My new favorite image. The fact that the cover art works on the iPod for some reason just tickles me to no end. I mean, it should work. I literally went in and I made sure. Well, actually, wait, no, because Babel, this is the version that you got from Audible, I think. Yeah, because this is the 8.5 hour, because it split it into 2 parts for you, rather than me manually splitting it into 3 parts. I manually split it into 3 parts, and I had to go in and make sure that the metadata was all set up so that it would pull the cover art for you. I love this image so much. I feel like I'm time traveling. I love it so much. Favorite image. This is I don't know what you're used to, what fancy technology you use, but this is the peak listening experience for the audiobook. It was in my chip bag. It just wanted a little snack. It just wanted a little crunchy snack. I love this image. I need to put this on Instagram for sure. It's Audible because I have no patience. Thank you so much. I'm pretty sure there's still only one sale through Audible, and it's you. And I appreciate that so very much. My trusty Brit. Alrighty. Let's see. See, I'm gonna come back to Cyril's other arm. And by that I mean the one that is behind his back. I'm gonna come back to that because I want to... a little bit. So you can kind of see the background. It's the bookshelf. And I was thinking of having Cyril like actually pulling... See, I'm trying to figure out the story that I'm trying to tell with this image, which is Cyril pulling out a book for her because she was reaching for something, and she is, respectfully, a little shrimp. She's just a little baby, and we love that for her. Is Cyril pulling down the book that she was reaching for to help her get the book? Or is he putting the book back in and saying, no, you're not going to read that right now. Instead, you're going to pay attention to me, because that's very much something Cyril would do. So I have to decide exactly what he's doing with his hand. Right now, it's just like a vague hand shape. Man, I wish to have one of those iPods back in the day. Now it would be so... Yeah, definitely. I really want to get like an iPod or an MP3 player. I used to have one. I think I had an iPod Nano, I think is what they were called. It was, instead of the version that Babel has, which is like the wider screen, mine was about, if I'm remembering the size of these things correctly, because it's been literal years since I've held one, but mine was like only partially as wide, and like the screen and then like the wheel, right? Wasn't that a Nano? I'm pretty sure. I could Google it, but I'm not going to. I'm going purely off of my memory. I dropped it so many times and it still works. Man, that's what I miss about old electronics, for sure. Now if you drop any electronic, it shatters into a gazillion pieces. And they're like, oh, it's too bad. And you just have to buy a new one. I'm like, uh-huh. Sure. Wait, you should make him pushing it back onto the shelf and make her look up at him pouting. I think that'd be super cute, because she definitely would do that. There was a whole scene that I wrote where Cyril's like, you're not supposed to be reading that one. Because she has access to his library in like his private room, which is filled with a bunch of... Cyril gets to pick and choose what goes into that library as the Archbishop. And so a lot of it is general information. And most of, I think pretty much all of those, yeah, I guess all of them, pretty much all of those books in that little library, which is in the study, they are copies of tomes that are like down in the archives, like below the church. And if Cyril wants a particular document or book or whatever for reference, he has the cardinals copy it and then bring it up to that library, so he has it for easy access and he doesn't have to ask the cardinals. The poor cardinals, Cyril's like, hey, I need like paragraph 3, line 2 of like this one book. And the cardinal's like, all right, it'll take me 3.5 hours to go all the way back down, find the book, and then bring it all the way back up. And so Cyril's like, okay, just make a copy of that one and bring it up here so I can reference it more often. So he's got a lot of, shall we say, sensitive documents in that library. And a lot of those books, therefore, are protected, so Brontë would not be able to technically read them. And by that, there's like a combination of, they're written in the church's like old language, so she wouldn't be able to read them anyway. Bless her heart, she would try. She wouldn't be able to read it, but like there's diagrams and equations and things in there that are visual, and so she would be able to look at those. And so Cyril's like, maybe don't poke around into that stuff, because respectfully, you're not even a nun, sweetheart. You're just a novice. If she's a shrimp, I'm a krill. Same. Listen, we love our short kings and queens. I used to have the iPod Nano. That is the smaller one. Ew, romantic. Gross. Disgusting. Oh, no, wait. It's 150 gigabytes. I checked the settings. The one book she picks is actually his journal that he writes about her in and doesn't want her to see. Cyril does, in fact, have journals that he writes and draws in. And he's definitely written about and drawn Brontë in those documents. Is she going to possibly get her hands on one of those in Volume 2? Maybe. There's a lot of... excuse me, my goodness. There is a lot of cut material from Volume 1 that's being repurposed for Volume 2. It'll be tweaked so that it makes more sense in the context of, like, character dynamics and where they are. But... what's this? Why do I have an extra layer here? Does this have anything on it? Oh, it's Eep. Of course. Oh, silly me. How could I forget? There are scenes that were cut, a lot of material that was cut from Volume 1, and some of it can be repurposed for Volume 2, and is being repurposed for Volume 2. and at least one of those is Cyril drawing Brontë when she's like sitting down next to him, and he starts kind of like sketching a picture of her, which is so cute and disgusting, and Cyril will be very embarrassed if she ever finds that. And we love that for him. It's so mean, Father Cyril. Interesting. Yes, interesting. All right, let's see. So I've just drawn in like a very basic shape of Brontë here. Let me try to clean this up a little bit. It's tough because I drew Cyril. I had the idea for Cyril's pose first, and I knew that I wanted Brontë to be in front of him. But now I'm in the position where it's going to be actually kind of hard to draw her in because she's going to be basically completely obfuscated by Cyril. See? My point as to why you should do it. No pressure. Cyril would be the sort of person to genuinely, he keeps a journal of like his thoughts and so on. And he sketches, Cyril sketches a lot, not just in like a personal sense, but because he's the Archbishop and because part of what he's tasked with doing is furthering the church's research into vampirism and a cure for vampirism. That is ultimately, technically, the church's goal, is that they want to like completely eradicate it in the sense that they want to, quote, cure it. So he is responsible for like anatomical sketches of like, that's why they're in volume 1, they're collecting addicts and so on. So he does sketches of, you know, anatomical sketches and so on and so forth, all that kind of stuff that would contribute to research, shall we say. So he does all of that, but then he also sketches just stupid lore tidbit that is not important. But this is another piece of material that was cut from volume 1 because it didn't really work out with the timing of certain things, and because beta readers told me that they were getting bored of Mara, which is Cyril's mother, popping up. So I removed a lot of the content that dealt with Mara because people were getting bored of her. So there were some scenes with Mara where you get to see a little bit of her and Cyril's dynamic. And one of those things is that Mara loves to paint, and she's pretty good at painting landscapes, but she really wants to learn how to paint portraits. That's something she really, really wants to do. And what she usually asks Cyril to do is she asks him to sketch like a portrait of somebody, doesn't matter who it is, just sketch a portrait that she can then use to paint over as practice. And so he also does that for her, which is very cute and was definitely cut from volume 1. But yes, so because of that, Cyril, it's normal for Cyril to sketch and have sketches and drawings and etchings and yada yada yada. It's just some are personal, some are for Mara, and most are for like research and documentation purposes. However, if Cyril found out that Brontë was being sneaky, and by sneaky I mean not subtle in any way whatsoever, because Brontë can't really be sneaky or subtle. She tries, bless her heart. But if Cyril found out that she was kind of, snooping around and maybe trying to, get her hands on his journals just to see, Cyril would absolutely like write and sketch something up of her. I'm not going to say what the content of that material would be, but he would definitely do something, and then he would definitely leave it in a place that he knows that she's going to find, and that he knows she's going to be unable to resist grabbing it and looking at it. That's definitely something he would do. And in true Cyril fashion, he would probably pretend that, shame on you, you weren't supposed to look at that. And now Cyril has a convenient excuse to maybe be a little bit strict with her. Oh no, what a shame. I'm sure both she and Cyril are mortified by the idea. Journal entry. She's the most insufferable baker's apprentice I've ever witnessed, and I've been keeping my eye on her. My eyes? No, he only has one eye. Well, technically, if we're going on 15 years, then yes, technically at some point in that he would have both eyes. Eyes for the past 15 years. Most annoyingly sweet vampire girl I've ever met. It's just poor Cyril being like, this isn't fair, this isn't fair, this isn't fair. And eventually it just gets to, I'm not complaining, but it's not fair. Let's see. That damn smile. Let's see. I never really settled on exactly how long Bronte's veil is. I think it's like a little bit past her mid-back, give or take. Like this would be like her natural waist, like right about here. So a little bit longer than that. Her veil kind of tends to change length every single time I draw it, which is not, good, but here I am. But what are you gonna do? Oh, come on, side, don't crash on me now. Okay, I'm gonna close that. Basically, well, actually, yeah, I guess it would be more like, I'm trying to envision how her dress kind of goes together, because I like historical fashion, so I have loosely, because this is a fantasy story, but I've loosely based her attire. Whoops. Eraser, please. There we go. I've loosely based her attire on historical fashion in the very simple sense that her dress, and you can't see me, but I'm making little air quotes, in her quote-unquote uniform dress, whatever, it's technically two parts, and by technically two parts, I mean it is a separate bodice. Oh, that's terrible. Okay, let's try again. There we go. The bodice, so like all of this, that's all one piece, and it gets worn over her skirt, which is like a separate piece, and all together it comes together as like one singular quote-unquote dress, but it's not like a single dress that she pulls on like all the way over. It's got layers. It's got layers. Did he even look at her while she was asleep without her knowing? We know that Cyril has access to her room, so maybe you might have to read to find out. I'm kind of sympathizing with him because having a crush is the worst, but I simultaneously enjoy making fun of him because he deserves it. Listen, this man deserves to suffer. I don't care if potentially he suffered enough by losing an eyeball and all of the various sufferings of his childhood and being a hunter, and then congratulations, you're archbishop. And Cyril's like, I don't want to be archbishop. They're like, too bad, congratulations, you're archbishop. Yeah. No, he hasn't suffered enough. He needs to suffer a little bit more. And then I tie Brontë onto like a string on the end of a stick and just kind of like dangle her in front of him. Yeah, it's what he deserves. Let's see. Oh, right. I was gonna work on. Yeah, okay. So, as I was saying, I'm not really sure exactly of. Because I know in the front, her corset is like a. I say corset. Her bodice is like a very standard shape, so it has like that little V in the front. But in the back, it's probably relatively straight across. So I'm gonna do something kind of like that. I'm gonna come up a little bit more, but something like relatively straight. And then it has like a little V in the back. Probably something like that. I don't know. I might fiddle with it a little bit more. Oh God, Stalker. Probably. I was gonna say probably the least of Cyril's crimes, but I don't know. I guess that's up to I guess that's up to the beholder. Depends on where you weigh that compared to his other mischievous deeds. Wait, I wanted to tell you I got a partner like a significant other, or like because you mentioned art fight, a partner in art fight. I think you mentioned art fight. I'm sorry, am I confusing you with someone else? I need to go scroll back through the chat to see who said what. Congratulations, either way. This is like Trickster saying, "Have you ever heard of magma?" And I was like, volcanoes? Or like a program? And they're like, no, it's a program. I'm like, oh, okay. A girlfriend, congratulations. I hope you two are very happy together. Yes, okay, that was someone else. Thank you. I try my best to keep up with chat and to keep everything straight, but I apologize. But yeah, congratulations. That's awesome. I hope you two are very happy and you bring each other lots of joy. It's like, well, I have to think about how I really want to shape her sleeves because they're not. This is a little bit too bell shaped because they're more tapered than that, I think. And this would go in front of her veil because that room is closer to us. Watching someone sleep would be the least morally questionable thing in his list of crimes, to be honest. Yeah, see, yeah, I agree. I am inclined to agree as someone, or rather as the person responsible for his crimes, technically. Let's see. Because even though technically, because of the boning in her corset, that should be a relatively straight line, I want there to be a little bit of curve there, so we're gonna do that. Sigh, I can't even pay through Ko-fi directly. I'll figure it out. I don't know. I hope we can figure something out. I am not... Yeah, because pretty much... Usually if someone wants to buy something from me directly and they don't want to go through, like, Ko-fi or Amazon, etc., usually I will just invoice them. I have a PayPal business account, and I will just invoice them from that account. But I don't think I can just send a PayPal invoice, unfortunately, because I don't think you have PayPal. That's a little start, and I will come back to it because I'm trying to think. Her sleeves don't necessarily have like a ton of structure, so they might kind of go that way a little bit. I don't know, whatever. I need to stop nitpicking that. I guess technically, well, I might need to move her a little bit to make that possible, but I guess it's possible that Cyril is like putting his hand entirely over hers and like pushing it back against, like he's pushing it, whatever book she was reaching for. She either got hold of it and was starting to pull it out, or she is so short that she couldn't get hold of it, whatever the case may be. But I imagine that Cyril would like come up behind her and just push her whole hand like back against the bookshelf and be like, nope, mm-mm. That would definitely get an eep out of her. And Cyril does love getting little eeps out of her. That is his favorite activity. Plus, if I do that, that means I don't have to draw her hand. Actually, drawing drawing Bronte's hands is pretty fun, even though I take creative liberties, and I've mentioned this before. Brontë, because she's a baker, she would keep her fingernails pretty short to keep them clean, because obviously she's working with her hands. But when I draw her, I tend to draw her with like longer nails, because Cyril finds that attractive, and I have designed Brontë like scientifically in a petri dish to make Cyril suffer. But anyway, all right, let's see. I just kind of do that. I guess I should do. I think because of that, I will definitely. That could be cute. I could have her kind of arching her back a little bit more because that would fill in some of this shoulder space. So let's do that. Plus, it will look cute. Costs €15. I'm not sure what the euro conversion is off the top of my head. It's priced at $15 if you buy it directly from me, because I've put it on sale for like the launch. I think the default price is 20. As a heads up, I do not get to set the price for Audible. Unfortunately, they just don't let me. And I don't get to set the price for Amazon or Apple Books, which is very weird because they let me set the price for the print books. I don't know why they don't let me set the price for the audiobook, but whatever. So it's cheaper if you buy it directly from me. If you get it from Audible, it's a little bit more expensive. I don't know how the pricing will work for the other places because I haven't been able to get it that far. Allegedly, they're going to auto match to Audible, because the cheapest way to get it should be if you just buy it direct through me. But I will be investigating that as we go forward. Or do you find her attractive with long nails? You say you're joking, but you know. It's funny though because when Babel can attest to this because Babel has known me for some time, I have a type when it comes to my um my female characters. And that type tends to be like tan skin and light hair. That's like a combination that I really like. If you've seen any art that I've drawn of Evangeline, then that's very much like the type of character that I always found very charming and was really like drawn to, especially if I was pairing that character with Cyril, yada yada. And then when I started working on Immolation, I was like, I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna make a different character design than I normally do. I was like, wow, watch out! I'm being so bold by making like the stereotypical vampire girl, but she's so cute. I love her so much. All right, I got distracted, and now I have to remember how bodies work again. Hold on, because she should be kind of arching words. You literally did call me out on it earlier today. She literally mentioned me and just came straight for my throat. It's so unfair. So yeah, so she's reaching up. In that case, she is petite. Yeah, she would definitely be like. I can imagine, like, you can't see it, but like down underneath, she's definitely up on her little tiptoes, which is so cute. And Cyril's like, damn, that's cute as hell. I'm gonna torment this girl. But so she'd definitely be like arching her back, and then that means that her some be kind of straight, and then technically that would mean that her skirt should be kind of more like going this way. Something more like that. Then I don't really. So she's wearing her corset because she's in like her dress attire. So she is squished, but she still has a pretty full bust, so you would still see the shape of it. So I'm thinking roughly something like that, and then it would kind of straighten out because she has the busk down the front. And then it would kind of come out again as we get to her hips. Something kind of like that, I think, is reasonable. Yeah, I think something like that, give or take, should work. She's already on her toes. She can't be that short. She's not that short, but Cyril is quite tall. Tan skin is difficult to maintain in real life. It is, and I would know because after becoming a corporate office worker, I have lost my tan. You got great taste. Both of your female protagonists are gorgeous. Thank you. I'm glad you like them. But yeah, I definitely... It's funny that Brontë is a character who is considered, like, quote, out of the ordinary, or like, I don't want to say daring because that makes it sound more dramatic than it needs to be, but she's definitely outside of my comfort zone in terms of how I would normally or ordinarily design a character. And it's so funny to think of that because she's a pretty simple design. I even have in the kind of as like a little inside joke to myself that I find very funny, but I don't think anyone else does. But anyway, I have in Volume 1, when Domingo is like, hey, I want you to figure out what you can about this person, Levi's like, can I get a description of the person? And Domingo describes her, and Levi's first thought is, wow, she sounds boring as hell. I'm like, don't you dare speak about my daughter that way. But they're right. Something like that. Yeah, I don't know exactly off the top of my head, like what their heights would be in relationship to one another, but like for example, you can see Bronte's head like basically comes up to about like titty height. She's on her tiptoes, so she's like a little bit above, but generally speaking, she's at like titty height. Sometimes simple is unique. I tried to make Bronte feel a bit unique and just like her body shape. I wanted her to be like very soft and curvy and a little bit chubby, and I just find that very, very charming. But then also certain just elements of like her facial features and like the way that her skin is colored, like even though I know I draw in grayscale, but like when I color her, which I don't know if I can bring up the art where she's colored from like the meme trend thing where Cyril has like his hands in front of her to like censor her chest, because I think YouTube would get mad at me if I showed that. But like, and just in like the way that I color her skin, she has like this very kind of like almost opalescent palette to her that I find very charming. I got so mad reading that line. Little does Levi know he has made enemies by calling her plain. Enemy number one is Cyril, who's like, don't you dare say that about my wife. Now we have more of a, it looks like she's kind of leaning forward, and I'm not going to make any comments whatsoever about the fact that that means she's kind of like pushing her ass out towards Cyril, because I'm sure he's very keenly aware of that, because he's a pervert. We love that for him. Alright, let's see, I can get rid of that. This makes me think of, I'm pretty sure I kept it in. I'm like 90% sure that I kept it in. Like 95% sure that I kept it in. But there's a scene where in Volume 1, Bronte's like standing, I think she's out in like one of the gardens or something, and Cyril like comes up behind her, and he comes up to her to talk to her, and she like whips her head around so fast that she like smacks him with her veil. And then I'm like, that's the inevitable progression of this image, is that she's gonna whip her head around and smack him with her veil. Well, I guess her skirt would kind of come up over this, and well, I don't know. I have to ponder. I liked Levi overall, but that was so mean. Let's see. Favorite and least favorite character. Go. If you had to pick one, favorite and least favorite, because my editor said that of the character voices as she was reading, her favorite was actually Brother Serge. She said Serge was her favorite voice, but her favorite character was Benjamin. So I'm curious. You don't have to specify whether it's voice or just character overall, but like if you have a favorite and a least favorite, I'd be very curious. I liked Philip a lot, but I absolutely just hated Domingo. Oh, that's interesting. I think I'm curious, does anyone else hate Domingo? I have one friend who is not in the chat this morning, unfortunately. They are busy this fine Saturday morning and running a yard sale. But Domingo is their favorite character. I'm so curious. I know that a lot of people did not like Serge, which is pretty predictable. Serge is he's not made to be, well, I guess he kind of is made to be unlikable. He's meant to have an abrasive personality, shall we say. Um, so I'm not surprised when people say, yeah, no, I don't like Serge. I'm like, yeah, that checks out. He doesn't do a very good job of making himself likable. Domingo is a good antagonist. I'm really happy you feel that way. That's good. That makes me happy. I wanted to avoid. I think I mentioned this way back in the um like the Q&A video I did ages ago. Um, I wanted to avoid because we see the trope a lot in like vampire media in general, where the church is like a corrupt, evil institution, in some way, shape, or form. And I wanted to kind of avoid that trope and therefore not make it the obvious situation of Cyril's evil, the church is evil, Domingo's the good guy, and you have to try to kind of root for Domingo as like the good guy coming in and trying to, fix things somehow. I wanted it to be more nuanced than that. I wanted it to be more gray than that. I want it to be that you can pick characters that you want to root for and choose who you want to side with, but there isn't necessarily a super clear-cut good or evil. I think Volume 1 you can tend to lean towards the church as the quote good guys because you see a lot more about like what the church is trying to do and why. In Volume 2, you're going to spend a lot more time with, well, not a, well, yeah, a lot more time. In Volume 2, you're spending a lot more time with Domingo and Shahi, who is the new alchemist that comes in. She's mentioned in the blurb of Volume 2. And you're going to kind of see more about why Domingo thinks about things in the way he does and what his approach is and so on and so forth. And I'm not saying that that's going to like pivot Domingo away from being like the antagonist or that he is like going to be like the good guy or anything like that. But it's going to give you more information so that you kind of get to, again, kind of pick and choose who you're going to root for, who you think is in the right, because there isn't necessarily a right and a wrong, because that's kind of what I was going for. So hopefully that's how it plays out. I'm very excited for you guys to meet Shahi. Shahi is very fun. I have some art of Shahi that I did. Maybe I'll show you guys that in a second. It's just a work in progress. It's not done, but I did sketch a little bit of Shahi to kind of work on her design a little bit more. So perhaps I will show you that. I love drawing Bronte's skirt. Her skirt is really, really fun. I hate Irwin. He's a twat. Everybody hates Irwin. I I think when I gave Adriel the direction for Irwin, I was really tempted to just say he's a fuckboy and just leave it at that. I did end up giving him a little bit more direction than that to kind of guide him towards like the character voice, but he really nailed the yep, Irwin sounds like a fuckboy because he really is. Oh, goodness. Nori, your friend is banned from a supermarket because she stole a bunch of booze? Yikes. I used to work at a supermarket, and I had to bust some boys who were stealing, not even like strong alcohol, they were just stealing beer. And they weren't subtle about it. They like pulled up in a car right to the front door of the supermarket, ran inside, grabbed a bunch of six packs, and then just ran out and got back in their car. I'm like, me standing there literally with like a notepad and a pencil writing down the license plate number, like, okay. If you're gonna steal, at least try to like not get caught. Come on. They were arrested. I know because I'm on the arrest report. Serge would have to be the least favorite grandpa indeed. But I feel like he might be the first to fish out the truth. And the cutest, loveliest, bestest favorite angel is you know her. Yeah, Serge is also here's a question for you, because Adriel also made this assumption, and I'm assuming that this is the assumption that most people make. A lot of people assume that Serge, his name, is pronounced Serge. Like, that's a very normal assumption. So I'm assuming most people initially read his name as Serge, or Sergey, however you prefer to say that. I'm assuming most of you did, because I didn't provide a pronunciation guide, and I still haven't. I considered putting a pronunciation guide in. Oh yeah, that's another. Oh my goodness, I have so many thoughts. um, Volume 1 just got updated with like a new. It's not technically a new edition, quote unquote, because I technically didn't change enough material for it to qualify, but it's a second edition. Um, there's a second edition now of Immolation for Volume 1. It's available everywhere. The only thing that is not yet available is the Dust Jacket version for the hardback, because it's supposed to take 24 hours to process, and it's been 72 hours, and they just still haven't processed it, because I love working with Ingram Spark. They're so fun and so helpful and so easy to work with. But anyway, but it's a new cover. It's new material inside the book. So there is now a dramatis personae at the front of the book, and there's now also a glossary of terms at the back of the book that gives you a little bit more lore and a little bit more definitions and all that kind of fun stuff. So that is out there. That's out there and waiting for you. I hated Zamira up until a few of the last pages. A friend of mine just finished reading Immolation, and without spoiling stuff, hopefully. Oh, hang on. My microphone popped off. Hold, please. Okay, there we go. But my friend just finished reading Immolation recently, and without spoiling anything, they were reading and got to a certain part about the end, roughly about the end of book 1 in volume 1. And we're like, oh man, I hope Zamira, like, cares about this event. But I'm sure she won't, because, you know, she's like the mean, tough girl, and, like, she flies solo, and, you know, she's very independent, and, you know, surely she wouldn't care about anything like this. And then a couple chapters later, you get Zamira's reaction to that information, and she does care. She cares a lot. And my friend was like, no, no, I hoped that she cared, but now that she does care, I'm really sad. So that was funny. I had a good time with that. You are also going to be spending more time with Zamira and her sister Esther in volume 2. It's a you might not like you might not like Zamira and Esther very much once you kind of find out a little bit more of what they're up to, or maybe you will. I don't know. I guess you'll just have to read to find out. Pronounced. I'm not sure how to read. I'm not sure how to read the German pronunciation of Brontë. I'm trying to think. So I don't even know if he's named in the first book, in volume 1. In volume 1, you at least see and kind of learn about Tish, who is Ambrose's apprentice. And Tish is not like the quote-unquote normal way to pronounce that name. So that one, I feel like I will need a pronunciation guide. Oh, and yeah, I guess I was going to show you art of Shahi. I guess I can do that now. Shahi, let me pull up her art real quick. Please don't crash on me, Sai. I will be very sad if you crash on me. Let's see. Because Shahi, I feel, may require, or probably will, definitely require a pronunciation guide. Because there's definitely, like, people read Serge's name, and they definitely read it as Serge or Sergei. Shahi has a unique character for her name. I'm trying to find her art. Oh my goodness. Where did I save it to? Don't tell me I didn't save it and all I have are screenshots, because that sounds like something that I would do. But hopefully I didn't do that. Oh, come on. Where did I save it? Oh, did I save it to this file? No, that's her old artwork. That's before her character sheet was updated. Shahi's been through a redesign like 4 or 5 times, which is pretty normal. Most characters go through a redesign at some point. Technically, the only character who hasn't been through a redesign is Cyril, but he cheated because he's been in existence the longest. I think I pronounced Serge correctly, though my dad's name is terribly similar and they're actually both awfully grumpy. However, yes, Tish was a struggle. Yeah, Tish, Shahi. We also have a couple of like Gaelic names, so like Scottish, Irish inspired names. Maddock is not a particularly difficult name, but for example, we'll have Saoirse and Siobhan, which are not spelled in ways that you would assume. They're very popular names because of pop culture, so I think people will recognize them and be fine. But I will probably still include a pronunciation guide for them. Let's see. Did I have the sneaking suspicion that I just didn't save this because... Okay, hang on. I'm just going to go ahead and get a screenshot. Classic me. Alrighty, here we go. There we go. There's some art of Shahi, and her name, let's see. So that S character has a symbol on it. So her name, I feel, will need a pronunciation guide. That's right, Vontae. I could have just gone to our DMs. Instead, I went hunting for it. Oh my goodness. I say Bronte in a Hispanic way with the E vowel pronounced more like vessel, not IE. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to envision it. I feel like you've explained it well. I'm just trying to think of, because admittedly, I usually say Bronte's name wrong because I say Bronte because I went to high school with a girl named Bronte and she said it that way and we were friends, so I was in the habit of saying it that way. Technically, with the way that I have spelled it, you should be saying Bronte. But I tend to say Bronte. I'm breaking the habit though because I want to be consistent because Adriel pronounced it correctly. I'm trying to make sure that I match that from now on. But yes, this is Shahi, so that S sound is like a sh sound. It's not like just an S like Sahi. And obviously the I is like an E sound, Shahi. I love her very much. But yes, so this is Domingo's alchemist that he's having shipped in, and that's gonna help him out. Shahi is an icon, so yeah, I think Shahi, Serge, Tish, Domingo is pretty easy. Technically, I guess people could be saying quote Isabel wrong. Her name is pronounced Isabel, but Isabel, it's not like a huge deal. That's just like a difference in pronunciation. Who else? Obviously Bronte. Cyril, some people get Cyril's name wrong. I've had people say Cyril instead of Cyril. But it's Cyril. Who else? Who else do I have just kind of off the top of my head? Florence is easy. Maddock is easy. Oh, JL. She's one that people kind of struggled with, but just JL. Philip is also easy. Zamira and Esther. Zamira is basically spelled out exactly how you would say it, so Zamira ends up being pretty easy. Ambrose is easy. Who else do I have? Sybil. Sybil, I guess, is kind of the same situation as Cyril, where some people might say Sybil, but I don't think Many people have done that. People usually, if they're making that sound, they're they're mispronouncing Cyril's name. Levi, I feel is pretty easy. I have had people ask me if it's pronounced Levy, like Levy attacks, but no, it's Levi. Who else? We have Shaki coming in Volume 2. Mara is easy. I guess some people might say Mara, but it's Mara. Yeah, I don't know. Who else is coming that might be difficult? Tish, Shahi, Sirsha, Siobhan. Siobhan, I don't think you're actually gonna interact with much at all. She might be mentioned, but she's not like a character that you're gonna like really hear much about. Oh, Noel, I guess some people sort of aren't sure how to pronounce Noel. What else? You forgot Kirill for Cyril as well. Yes, that's true. That hard K sound instead of the C sound. I did forget that one. Is there anyone else I'm forgetting off the top of my head? Anders is easy. Anders is easy. Oh, Debare might be difficult. We have a new brother that we meet in Volume 2, Brother Debare. He might be difficult. His name isn't difficult, but I guess people might read it as Debar, but it's pronounced Debare. Yalisic. People might struggle with Yalisic because her name is a little bit tricky. She's mentioned exactly once towards the end of Volume 1. Sister Yalisic. I'm trying to remember. Beatrice is easy. I think Beatrice is easy. James is quite easy. Hugo I think is easy. Yeah, Noel. I think some people might assume Noel, but Noel is usually how that's said. I feel like I'm forgetting someone that would be difficult, but I don't know who it would be. Ben and Benjamin, that's very easy. That's a pretty common name. Obviously Brontë. Hezekiah, that's a pretty easy name, I feel like, because it's spelled exactly how you would kind of sound it out. Yeah, I can't think of anyone else off the top of my head. There's Peregrine. Peregrine isn't like an active character, it's like a historical character. Kind of like in Volume 1, you get that's one I guess that people might not be sure of. Methuselah. Methuselah is a name that people might not know how to pronounce, even though I think that Methuselah is kind of spelled like the way that you would sound it out. Peregrine, I think, is pretty easy. I think it's kind of the same situation. That's another like historical character from the church's history that you get to learn about. Josefa. Well, there's Josefa and there's Joseph. We have both of them. Josefa is another historical character. She's mentioned in Volume 1. Brontë and Philip kind of talk about some of those characters in like the history of the church. And then Joseph is like an actual character. Barnabas. I feel like Barnabas is a pretty easy name. It's kind of just spelled out exactly the way that you would read it. Malachi. Malachi's a pretty easy name, I think. I'm literally just trying to remember Volume 2 characters off the top of my head. Maud, I don't know if we're gonna meet Maud in Volume 2 or not. She's more of a Volume 3 character. Evangeline, she's pretty easy. It's a pretty common name, and we're gonna meet her in Volume 2. And yes, Brontë, that is the same Evangeline that is Angelique in The Secret Project. I still don't know what I'm gonna do about that. I still have to figure out if I'm even going to be allowed to publish that on Amazon or not. Because it's too spicy for their delicate sensibilities, I think. I don't know. So that's just languishing because I don't want to risk my entire account. I love how I often say, both in writing and just outside of writing, like, oh, you know, Cyril, the Archbishop, yada yada, you know, it's supposed to be this, you know, a figure that is, you know, like authoritative, yes, because it's an Archbishop and yada yada, but like, you know, Cyril's supposed to have like a gentle and kind of calming presence because that's something that Brontë is like very attached to. Like she feels most at peace whenever Cyril's around, even though she's also very intimidated by him and ultimately a little bit scared of him, as she probably should be. But because she's known him so long, and of course because of all like the church, the fire juice in his veins and all that. But I find it very funny when I'm like, oh yeah, no, Cyril has like this calming presence, and then I draw him and he just looks evil. It's the glowing eye. Like, no, I promise he's a very nice man. Just the concept, the vague idea of her little face over there. Let's see, maybe I can at least block in his arm. Let's just get it done for the plot then, I guess. You can still publish it somewhere else without risk. I think I want to say that I can publish it on Smashwords, which is one of the ebook distributors that I also use for Immolation. Which, oh, by the way, if you have already bought Volume 1 of Immolation and you want to get the second edition manuscript version that has like the added changes and the dramatis personae and the what's it called, glossary, Smashwords is going to be offering a sale in summer. I believe it starts July. I'll be posting about it to give you guys a heads up. But if you want that version and you don't want to buy it again, it's going to be free on Smashwords. So you can grab that other edition just so you have both if you want. Or if you just want to buy the book in general, and it'll be free. All right, let's see. I'm going to put this one back here because this is like the top part of his arm. That's the wrong color. Come here. There we go, that's better. Did you try LAVS, but not today? And, oh, Relic Via. I have a sample of Relic Via. I'm not sure about LAVS. I tried both Cardinal and Avignon, and actually a handful of others as well. Cardinal was Vante's suggestion, and I really liked it. However, comparing Cardinal to Avignon, Avignon was a little bit spicier, and Cardinal was a little bit sweeter. So Cardinal leaned a little bit too sweet, I think, for Cyril. I personally really liked wearing it. I think it smelled really nice on me, and I would happily own a bottle of it, except it does not last very long. It's usually gone, like, within a couple of hours, probably even an hour. And the reviews of Cardinal said as much. They're like, it smells really good, but it does not last very long at all. Which is a shame, because I think they want like $200 for a bottle. But I did really, really like it. Avignon was very, very similar to Cardinal. If you had blindfolded me and put them next to each other, I might not have been able to tell the difference because they both had that really strong incense note. But if I had to like really try, I would say that Avignon was more spicy and didn't have as much sweetness. Cardinal had a sweetness beneath it that was almost a creamy sweetness, which was very charming. But I also already kind of have that with Sacristy. So I waggled my hands. But I really like both. I might get samples of them both again because I got pretty small samples. I actually have like a little gift card, not a gift card, like a little promo code. That's what it is. A little promo code to get like, I think 20% off or like 20 bucks, whatever it is, off of a full bottle. So I might use that to buy a bottle of Cardinal, or I might use that to buy a bottle of Avignon. Not sure. Both were really nice. Avignon lasted a little bit longer than Cardinal, but not by much ultimately. So I'm still on the prowl for the perfect Cyril fragrance. Avignon was pretty good. Daisalmer, I think, is the other one that is by the same house that did Avignon. That was also nice. It had a little bit more woods that were kind of cutting through. Ideally, I want something that has tobacco and incense, but tobacco can very easily be cloyingly sweet. And I really don't want that for Cyril, because that's not right for him. The hunt continues. But I'm having a lot of fun looking through, well, looking and smelling my way through, I suppose, all the fragrances. But I really liked Cardinal and I really liked Avignon. I wish I had more of both of them and that they weren't $200 for a bottle. Ah. Something or someone can very well be both soothing and intimidating at the same time. That's one of the most addicting dynamics as well. Cyril knows what he's doing. Listen, he's a professional. He's a professional fucker. But yes, I'm glad you enjoy the dynamic as much as I do, because I find it very fun to write and I find it very interesting. So hopefully I do a good job of portraying what I'm aiming for, and hopefully you guys enjoy the read and enjoy the characters. time is it? 12:40. Okay, I think I'm gonna aim for about 1 o'clock, so I've got about 20 minutes left, give or take, because I need to get back to cleaning, because again, I have company coming over tomorrow. So gotta do more cleaning. Which I'm overjoyed about. I love cleaning. All right, let's see. I don't know. What are we thinking? Do we think Cyril should have his sash? Nope. I said this right at the beginning and I got it wrong twice. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. Should he have his stole is what I meant to say. And I will sketch that in so you guys can see. Because his stole would be kind of like going over shoulders, like so. Trying not to cover up his little weird ponytail. I love his weird ponytail. Sorry, Cyril, I didn't mean to call it weird. I actually love your little ponytail. Perfumery surely is a luxury business nowadays. Yeah, it's expensive. I didn't need a third expensive hobby, but I tripped and fell face first into it, so here I am. You probably wouldn't see it. Probably be like over here. Because I didn't want to give him his stole because it would kind of cover up Brontë. See, I did it again. Brontë. That's not how you say it. Brontë. So like, I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? Should he have his stole? I love the look of that back. Yeah, me too. I'm really happy with his back because I used, as I was saying, I didn't need another expensive hobby. I have a figure of Cyril, a doll of Cyril. I technically have 3 of them because I have no chill. But I have one on my desk, and I just kind of like turned him around, and I used his back muscles as a reference for this drawing because he's like right next to my monitor, and he did a great job. Thank you, Cyril, for holding very still and being a great drawing reference. Yes, Filippo's products have always been expensive. The bottle for Sacristy is like insane. It's like a cast or like a replica cast of like the Pope's hand, and I think that bottle is like $375 or something crazy like that. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm really leaning towards Avignon. Cardinal was really good. It's a shame that it doesn't last longer. And I've tried quite a few by this point. There was another one called With the Candlestick, which I really liked because it had a certain smokiness to it. However, the entire front of that fragrance is communion wine. So it's very fruity and very sweet because it's going for like that very sweet communion wine. And that's not quite right for Cyril. It's good, just general church vibes. I still find it very pleasant. Like I used up the entire sample because I liked wearing it. And I really like the smokiness of it because Cyril should smell smoky, both like incense smoke and like cigarette smoke, which I know real cigarette smoke does not smell good. I am talking about like the idealized version of it in a fragrance. So he should smell smoky, but I don't know, with the candlestick just wasn't quite right because of how fruity and how sweet it was at the top of it. Still really nice, but just not quite right for him, even though it was more promising because of the smoke. Cardinal and Avignon, I feel like they're both really good bases. If I was going to choose a base, I would pick Avignon because it lasted longer and it was a little bit spicier, and I could layer it with something else. And like if I tried to layer something with Cardinal would just get lost because it doesn't last very long. But I don't know. I feel like I still have to search. I feel like the perfect one's out there somewhere. I just have to find it. Oh yeah, and then I guess Cyril isn't really wearing any... so when he wears the capelet, which I already said that I'm not going to give him. When he wears the capelet, it's like about that long, give or take. And it's got like a little... I guess it wouldn't be like that. It would be more like... There's a little pleated bit that kind of starts... It's not going to do it either, but whatever. But there's pleats in the fabric, and then it's not pleated. But the pleats probably go down like my... whatever. So there's the capelet that would hang down, and then on top of / attached to the capelet, there's obviously the hem of like it's gold, and just like the hem of like his sleeves and yada yada yada, all that's gold. Blah blah blah. Okay, right. But there's like a little embellishment here, and then that connects to another embellishment that's over here. It's kind of right behind his little ponytail, and then obviously there's one on that just looks like the number 3. Mm-hmm. There we go. There's one over here on the shoulder as well. And you can see these on the front of him. Obviously, you can't really see the front of him right now, but basically, like, there's little chains, and like these are like beaded chains that are similar. Oh, he doesn't even have his belt rosary. I'm sorry, Cyril. I took away like the most important thing. You can't cast magic without your rosary. My apologies. Yeah, there's like little... They go over to the front, and then he's obviously wearing his cross around his neck. So he's got all... He's a jingly boy. He's got all sorts of jewelry and stuff on his cassock. And I was talking to, again, another friend who is not in the chat this morning, but I was talking to this friend about money in this world, and how basically it increments in like units of 1,000. So you have copper, silver, and gold, and so the fact that Cyril is wearing so much gold is a testament to just how much money the church has to throw around. And Domingo's like, you don't pay taxes on that, do you? They do, actually. But Domingo thinks they should pay more taxes. Domingo may or may not be ready to get out the guillotine. But anyway. Alright. So, I guess, yeah, no, without that. And you wouldn't be able to see his cross, because his cross is, like, at, like, the middle of his chest. So, yeah, you know, you wouldn't be able to see that. Well, I guess... Well, I have brushes for beads on my other software, which is CSP. Currently, I'm using Psy, but I also have CSP. But his rosary is kind of like, it would go... something like that. He might be casting magic somewhere else without his rosary at the moment. Domingo is pro taxes. So on brand. Domingo is just standing outside the gates of Our Lady and shouting up at Cyril like, "Oi, pay your tax!" Cyril's like, "Why don't you come over here and make me?" Try Relic Via. I have a sample of Relic Via. I've tried it. I do like it, but it's very wood forward, which isn't quite right for Cyril. And of the Filippo fragrances I have sampled, between Relic Via and Sacristy, I prefer Sacristy. Sacristy smells almost like what I would envision a blend of like Brontë and Cyril to smell like, because it has some of the very specific, I think it's Madagascar vanilla. It has some of that very specific vanilla that I associate with Brontë, and it has the incense that I associate with Cyril, and it kind of meshes the two together. It's very pleasant. I really like it. I really enjoy wearing it. I will probably get some of it. Probably not the official bottle, because I am not going to be spending $375, but I'll probably get a decant of it. But I don't know if it's quite right for Cyril, but I did really like it. Let's see. Am I missing anything on you, Cyril? You wouldn't be able to see his sash. I think that's pretty much everything. You can't see his cross. I'm still not sure if I'm going to add the stole or not. I do kind of like the shape that it gives his back, but I don't think he necessarily needs it at the moment. Being like Regina George, why are you so obsessed with me? But yeah, there's again, a lot of the material, most of the material for Volume 2 is already written, and there is a scene, there are several scenes, but there's one in particular, because I was editing it recently, with Levi and Benjamin, where Levi is, as he does in Volume 1, but he does it even more obviously in Volume 2. Levi is trying to poke and prod and get at pieces of information to try and learn more about the church in general, and also about Cyril specifically. And he succeeds in getting some information about Cyril in Volume 1. It costs him a broken hand to get to it, but he technically gets it. And you don't technically find out the extent of the information that he got in Volume 1. You're gonna find out exactly how much information he was able to glean from that event in Volume 2. But there's a scene in Volume 2 where Levi is interacting with Benjamin, and Benjamin is just kind of casually talking about something, and Levi is sitting there kind of mentally taking notes like, oh my god, your archbishop has so much control over everything and so much fucking money. Oh my god. And Levi's sitting there trying to keep a straight face as Benjamin is talking about this as if it's completely normal. And Levi's like, oh my god. So that's very fun. I'm very excited to have people read that, because I think it's fun. I think it's a fun time. And if anyone ever has the amount of control over your finances that Cyril has over the entire church and every individual person's finances, please run. That's not how it should be. Okay, let me see. How about, I never added his hand to the layer here. I would like, I think it'd be really funny. I only have a few more minutes, but I think it'd be really funny if I can like add like Bronte's little fingers, like a squished bug sticking out from underneath Cyril's hand, like help me. You can barely see her little fingers. Maybe something like that. You can like barely see her little fingers sticking out from underneath his hand. Like, oh no, oh, she's busted. She's very worried. Welcome back, Nori. I'm about to wrap it up, unfortunately. I've got about 4 or 5 minutes, because I need to be out of here at 1. Or at least 1 my time. Don't ask about the smiley face. But yeah, man, now I wish I had some more of the I tried a bunch of the Filippo fragrances. I tried a good amount of them. I think what was one? There was one that was like extremely chocolatey. That was very interesting. Not right for any of my characters, but it was very intriguing. Does he give gifts for no reason? Cyril, one of Cyril's love languages, shall we say, is definitely giving gifts. For no reason? The reason is that he decided he wanted to give a gift. But he is constantly buying gifts and various accoutrements for Mara. He is constantly getting her things. Constantly getting her new dresses and just pretty much anything that she asks for. But Mara is pretty much the only one who gets that kind of stuff from him. He is responsible with the money that he siphons from literally everybody by matter of being the Archbishop. I know I had your live on blast, so I showered. I'm glad I could keep you company. And now you're squeaky clean. All right, let's see. I think I'm going to quickly give this a good old blackout treatment, because that's easy. Usually do that with Cyril's hands, just make them really dark. Where did I put his other arm? Oh no. Aha. Doesn't need to be pretty right now. We're just making it exist. We make it good later. Man, adding Brontë sweating made this a lot more questionable of a sketch than I realized. So, oh well. All right, let's see. Where did I put? I really need to label my layers. My goodness. Where did I put it? Ah. Clean this up a little bit. This will be the last thing that I do, and I'm going to wrap it up and call it a day. I want a lot of books, Cyril, and tools for baking. Bronte's like, here's my wish list for Christmas. Please and thank you. What the hell? Alright. That is going to do it for today. Alright. I'm putting my pen back in my brick, which is where it's supposed to go. So if I panic later, we all know that it's there. But thank you so much, guys. I hope you had fun. It was great to do the premiere this morning and to work a little bit on the sketch. I hope you had fun with the premiere. I hope if you listen to the audiobook, you enjoy it. And if you do, if you would be willing to leave a review, that'd be greatly appreciated. But either way, I hope you enjoy the audiobook. Thank you guys so much for the support. I will be trying to stream every other Sunday. Today's Saturday, so not today. Sunday, every other Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I hope you guys can make it. I would love to have you. And hopefully I will have some more updates and all that good stuff to share soon. I can actually imagine Cyril going to the market to buy her stuff. Cyril absolutely is like perusing and is the sort of person who can see something and be like, Mara would like that, and just grabs it. Cheers for streaming. Have a wonderful week ahead and enjoy the summer. Try not to melt. Yeah, absolutely. May the ice drinks help you through these trying times. And congratulations on the audiobook. Thank you so much, Brontë. I really appreciate it. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll see you next time, whenever that stream is going to be. Don't know yet. Hope you enjoy the audiobook, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for everything.